Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how are you?
I am super. How are you?
Super-de-duper. I'm doing real good. I'm excited because we've got a fun guest coming up later today. Guess who we're going to talk to?
Who's that?
Well, it's Thursday, the 16th. Today is Julie Lawson Timmer, and she's got a book called Untethered. So we're going to be chatting with her about that. Also want to let you know that St. Louis University suggests that frequent driving might raise the risk of skin cancer on body parts used while steering. They don't say which body parts, but just the ones used while steering. I think that would be hands.
Be your hands.
And arms. Occasionally feet. I'm not sure. I just think that's funny the way they phrase that. Young people can expect to be carted in Wisconsin's hotspots, not to buy a drink, but to go to the mall. Mayfield Mall, southwest of Milwaukee, it's kind of a popular place for teens to hang out. But if they want to hang out, they'll have to show ID. Mall officials are concerned that rowdy teenagers might be driving away paying customers. So now they're asking them for their ID. I'm not sure how that's going to help.
I don't know what the ID is going to do. Are they going to kick them out?
Maybe that's going to make them behave more because now we know who you are. I don't know. All I know is we have some special things going on today. We'll get to that in a bit on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, June the 16th. Today is Bloomsday. It is
Bloomsday?
also... Yeah. It is also... I don't know what that is. It's also Career Nurse Assistance Day. It is Fudge Day. I know what that is. Yummy! With fudge. With nuts or without nuts?
With nuts. Has to have nuts.
I like it both ways. But yeah, with nuts is good. Today is also Ladies' Day, and then behind it says baseball. So apparently it's Ladies' Day for baseball. It is Dump the Pump Day, so we're not supposed to get gas today, according to this. I'm going to probably have to get some anyway. And it's Recess at Work Day today. I like that.
I like that.
Let's go. What was your favorite thing to do during recess? Did you have like a go-to merry-go-round or slide or something that was like your place to hang out?
Well, I used to love the merry-go-round until I fell off of it and cracked my head open, so that kind of ruined that one for me.
Put a damp around the merry-go-round?
Yeah.
So it was not the merry-go-round, is what you're saying.
Not anymore,
Okay.
no.
Well, get out there and celebrate one way or another on this Thursday, the 16th day of June.
Whether you're an experienced shooter or someone new to self-defense, Front Sight Firearms Training Institute has a course for you. You may recognize Front Sight from their reality TV show filmed at this private range 45 minutes west of Las Vegas. A Diamond Lifetime membership is $15,000, but we have a special price of just $3,000 available now only at radiosavings.com. This lifetime membership allows you to take over 50 courses as often as you'd like at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute. Get this deal right now at radiosavings.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Heidi, what if vegetables tasted like chocolate? Do you hate it when your parents make you eat spinach? Carla Homesky does. That's why this 11-year-old inventor invented a pill that makes veggies taste like yummy chocolate candy. What a cool idea. It says it has a chemical that fools your taste buds, explained the 5th grade science whiz. It works for other yucky-tasting vegetables, too, like asparagus. The pill makes them taste like M&M candies. Incredibly, Carla concocted the pill using nothing but a chemistry kit that her father bought her for $15. A company has offered $2 million for the marketing rights. That kit turned out to be a pretty darn good investment, didn't it?
I guess so.
So Carla, again, a 5th grader, Carla Homesky, she's 11, invented something that makes vegetables taste like chocolate. Now, I have to admit something. Up until I was in my 30s, almost 40, I never even tried a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
I had never tried broccoli. I didn't like it because I didn't try it. And then I actually tried it, and I was like, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
And one that was mentioned in this story is asparagus. I never tried it, so I didn't like it.
asparagus.
I love asparagus. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really good. Another one that's in the story is spinach.
I like fresh
I
spinach.
never thought I liked spinach until you started making, what is it, a strawberry spinach?
Cucumber salad.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
It's got
so
spinach
good.
and strawberries and other yummy stuff.
I
And it's
love
delicious.
it.
So I do think it's a good idea if you can take a pill and make things taste yummy. But sometimes all you have to do is taste them and they'll turn out to be yummy.
And honestly, I don't know if I could eat vegetables that taste like chocolate. I don't think it would make it any easier for me to eat it. Remember when they made green ketchup?
Yeah, it was weird.
It still
tasted
tasted
exactly the same, but it was weird.
Right.
Purple and green ketchup. That was a big failure from a few years
So I don't
ago.
think I could eat vegetables that tasted like chocolate because it's not what it's supposed to
I just got to say, Carla Homeski, you 11-year-old science whiz, keep up the good work. And you know what? This kid could cure cancer. She came up with a way to like her veggies. You never know. She's got a bright future. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain. And this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. There's many celebrations that take place this time of year. We just went through a bunch of graduations. There's a ton of weddings that are coming up. But there are a lot of things that put teens at risk due to drinking and underage drinking while driving. A recent AAA survey of teens 16 to 19 in the state of Wisconsin, this is the second thing from the state of Wisconsin, revealed that 41% of high school teens say that either they or their friends are likely to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol sometime during the prom and graduation season.
Well,
41%. A majority...
I don't know. That number sounds low.
A majority, 84% of teens, indicate their peers would likely be driving under the influence instead of calling parents for help.
That part is scary.
Because they were afraid to get in trouble for drinking underage. Here's the thing. I don't know who your parents are, but I can tell you this. They would much rather you call.
Yep.
I'm not.
Than to have
It doesn't
to
matter.
scrape
Even
you
if
up off the side of the highway.
if they've told you 1,000 times not to do it, but you did it, they would much rather you call them rather than
drive
die.
home. Yep, that's
so
absolutely
kids,
right.
don't do that because that's the kind of thing that happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Well, it sounded like a good idea at the time, but it still landed 21-year-old Mark Antonio Stoav in Mesa, Arizona jail. His big plan was to pretend to be a new employee at a 7-Eleven so he could learn how to use the cash register. So he could later come and steal the contents. He successfully conned a female clerk at the store into training him that morning.
Oh, my gosh.
Then Mark returned to the store twice that same day to make purchases. On the final visit, the clerk commented on his photo ID when he was trying to buy beer. That's when he allegedly pulled a gun and forced the woman into a bathroom. Mark then pretended to be a store clerk for a while, helping customers. When the real clerk broke free and came out with a gun,
Woo!
he fled with stolen money, but police caught up with him and arrested him in Phoenix. He now faces charges of armed robbery, kidnapping, and third-degree burglary, charges he later admitted
impersonating a 7-Eleven employee.
to during a police interview. Yeah, he that was just a, I got to say, I understand his plan. It was a genius. But
once he locked her up, instead of sticking around to finish the shift, he probably should have just gotten
I
out.
know how to run there's people here. There's a line. I don't want these people to have to wait for their gas. I don't know. That guy was not. It was a half-cocked plan, Mark. I'm just saying. All right, we have your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. Kim Jong-un has reportedly gained some weight. He now weighs over 300 pounds.
Ooh.
He's not a very tall guy.
No, he's
just,
not.
I think he's 2.5 feet tall, isn't he? Okay, a little taller than that. But he's just a little fella, and now he's not such a little fella. KFC is spending a reported $185 million in an effort to upgrade their restaurants. And I know I've been to some that needed an upgrade. I've been to some that are really nice as well. But I will say this, I'm not a fan of the new KFC marketing with the fake Colonel Sanders. I like the original.
I think they're adorable.
I like the original Colonel Sanders.
He's dead.
I understand that. But then
They can't do much with him.
Well, not in good taste, they can't.
No.
And they did a cartoon for a while, but I think it's in poor taste that they're impersonating now. I just don't.
It
I
is
don't like
not.
it.
Impersonation is the best form of flattery. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be happy with that. Hey, a guy in New York State was charged with burglary after allegedly walking into another man's home and started cooking pork chops and used the bathroom. It sounds like a perfectly normal afternoon to me. Oh, it was in somebody else's house. Okay. Hey, Jim Trencher was fed up with mice chomping on the grass seed bags at his St. Paul, Minnesota warehouse And then he heard about this working cat program the Humane Society had. He adopted 2 felines. Now they live and work at the warehouse, which is now mouse-free. He calls the cats the, quote, best employees I've ever had.
That doesn't surprise me.
Hopefully you've never worked for the man. The best employees I've ever had. 2 cats that eat mice. All right, a 30-year-old Florida man took off all of his clothes at a sheriff's substation after being charged with a domestic crime. There was nothing in his arrest report to indicate the officers that he was under the influence of anything, so they're not sure why he did this. He apparently just got hot? I don't know. Trying to come up with some bright ideas for your next home project? Get rid of your lampshades. A new study says illuminating a room with a single unshaded light bulb greatly boosts your problem-solving skills. So it doesn't necessarily have to stay that way all the time, but they're saying while you're trying to come up with a plan, take your lampshades off and put them on your head. No, don't do that. As many as 75% of American children consume caffeine daily, which is now leading to sleep problems among the biggest consumers of caffeine. According to a study published in the Journal of Pediatrics, the research carried out by doctors at the University of Nebraska Medical Center found that children between the ages of 8 and 12 consume about 109 milligrams of caffeine each day. That's the equivalent of 3 cans of caffeinated soda. Lead researcher William Warzik says the intake of caffeine appears to interfere with children's sleep. No kidding. With sleep disruptions increasing in kids that consume more caffeine. No kidding. So they're saying the kids have too much caffeine and they struggle to get sleep. Is anybody shocked by that?
I'm not shocked by that. Once again, another study that really didn't need to be done.
Our daughter, who's in high school now, likes this, one of the energy drink things. We don't let her get them. We don't let her get them because we're like, no, that's not good. We don't want you doing that. But she loves the stuff.
And I've tasted them. They're gross.
It's terrible. I tried it. It's like medicine. Now, I understand it's a generational thing. I'm sure it is because the kids seem to like them, but the adults don't necessarily. And this right here, they're saying they're getting a ton of caffeine. I think a lot of it comes from that kind of stuff. Finally, researchers who set out to determine if the old adage, an apple a day keeps a doctor away, is actually true, they found out it's a little bit more complicated than that. The study concluded that people who consume apples daily were not less likely to stay overnight at a hospital or visit a mental health professional, but they were less likely to use fewer prescription medications. So, an apple a day keeps the pharmacist away, is maybe what they should be saying. All right, that's going to do it for your Scoop of the Day on a Thursday.
John and Heidi.
This has been quite an election so far, and we've got a long ways to go. Stay informed at PoliticalStorm.com. It's a cool site with political news and information on the campaigns, plus a place to chime in and have a say in what you think. If you're into politics, you need to check out PoliticalStorm.com. Get informed from several different sources all in one place. Listen to podcasts like mine and learn about current election topics, read fun editorials, and engage your brain. It's your country. It's your vote. It's your voice. PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We have a special guest joining us on the telephone right now, Julie Lawson Timmer, and she's the author of a book called Untethered, and it's a pretty exciting topic to talk about because I'll bet everybody listening can certainly relate to this. First of all, let's just say hello to Julie. How are you, Julie?
Good. How are you, John?
Fantastic. What was the idea for the book Untethered? Where did this idea come from?
Well, a couple ideas. One is that Untethered deals with stepmother's relationship with her stepdaughter, and I am a stepmother, and so I wanted to explore that. And it also deals with another family who adopted a child out of foster care and subsequently rehomed her, or in other words, they gave her away to people after advertising her on the internet.
Ooh.
And I was inspired to write that because I read an article about this happening in the United States, and I was horrified and wanted to really explore that as well.
Now, being a step parent myself, when I got married, my wife had a son, and I've adopted him. Most people listening probably don't know that because I've never referred to him as a stepson. I've referred to him as my son because he is. But this kind of really hits home to me because again I'm in this kind of the same situation. How long did it take to put this book together?
I would say probably I tend to draft books pretty fast, so I draft them in a couple of months, and then I take about 3 times that long to revise them over and over again until they're how I want them to be. So probably a year and a half all told.
And what kind of research goes into putting out a book like Untethered? Because with something like this is a pretty big issue. Like I said, something that almost everybody has some sort of connection to, whether it's in their own family or if it's in a family that they know. It's such a common thing now. What kind of research goes into putting something like this together?
Yeah, I tend to do a lot of research for my book, so you're right, there's a whole blended family issue, who has rights to their stepchildren. So I talked to some legal experts about that. And then in terms of rehoming, and the child in the novel was adopted out of foster care before she was rehomed. So I did a lot of research into foster care and also rehoming. And again, read a ton of books and also talked to a number of experts, psychologists, social workers, foster care experts, legal experts. I tend to leave no stone unturned when I research novels.
And again, the book is called Untethered. We're visiting with the author right now. Again, the author's name is Julie Lawson Timmer. Now, you mentioned it's a novel. Things that are happening in the book, are these based on true stories, or is some of this kind of creative liberties, or where do the things come from?
Well, they're not based on any particular true story that I know of, but they're based on my knowledge that these things are occurring. So, for example, I know that there are step families where the husband dies and the stepmother then loses all of her, never has any legal rights to her stepchildren, and so doesn't ever see them again because her only connection to her stepchildren was through her husband. I know that that happens, so the book isn't about any particular one of those stories, but it's about that situation. And then in terms of rehoming, there have been articles about rehoming. There was a government report about rehoming, so I know, again, that those situations happen, and so I invented a situation to sort of illustrate that phenomenon.
Well, again, the book is available right now. It's been out for about a week, and where can people find a copy of the book Untethered?
They can get a copy anywhere books are sold.
Well, that's good. That's everywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty much everywhere. That's right.
As you were researching this book, and you were saying that you are a step-parent yourself, did you learn quite a bit more about the step-parent situation in our country, and what kind of things did you discover?
Well, in terms of step-parenting, I think it's a fact that most step-parents, and I know this is not true in your situation, but most of us do not have legal rights to our stepchildren because in most cases the biological parent has not relinquished legal rights and we did not adopt these children. And so I know that there are exceptions, like in yours, but I know that in most cases, if something, for example, were to happen to my husband, I may never see my stepchildren again. And I know many other step-parents, and I think probably most of your listeners, either if they're not step-parents themselves, they know plenty of step-parents. And that's just a fact of life in these relationships. And it's a difficult fact of life, but it is what it is, as they say. So I just wanted to explore how it feels to be a stepmom and know that after putting so much love and attention and devotion into a child, it's possible that you may never see that child again. That's just a tough situation. And sometimes it's nice to read a book where a character is going through something that you have feared you might go through yourself. It's nice to feel you're not alone in that situation, I think. Definitely not alone.
Like I said, this is something that is so common. I would absolutely be astonished if there's anybody listening that doesn't know somebody that is a step-parent or have stepchildren or is a stepchild, because there's so many of that, so many people like that in America today.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Well, thank you again for taking some time to chat with us, Julie. The book is called Untethered. It's available right now. You can buy it, as she said, wherever books are sold. And what kind of fun projects are you working on next? Do you have another fun book in the works right now?
I do. I have a book that I'm researching right now, and it involves the situation in Flint with the water crisis.
Oh, wow. Never a dull moment, is there?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, Julie, thank you again for taking some time to visit with us here today.
Thanks a lot, John. Nice to be with you.
Again, Julie Lawson Timmer. She is the author of the book Untethered. It's available wherever books are sold. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Do you buy lottery tickets? Maybe you wait till the jackpot is big, then you buy one. I was like that too. Like my odds got better because the jackpot was more. Well, I think I found something that actually will give me a better chance to win. It's called Lotto-licious. I learned about this from Richard Lustig. He literally wrote the book on how to win the lottery, and he should know. He's a 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Richard plays and endorses Lotto-licious, and I just signed up too. I'd love it if you join Richard and I. You can play Powerball and Mega Millions without even going to the store. Sign up right now at RadioLottopool.com. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The tulip, the flower, did you know that it's named after a hat? Probably an ugly hat, I'm guessing. I can't imagine wearing a hat that looks like a tulip. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A vampire bat is most likely to bite a human while sleeping, and guess where they're going to bite you?
On the neck?
On your big toe.
Really?
Yeah, so keep
How
your
would they
socks
get
on.
to your
I
toe?
have no
You're
idea.
under the covers.
Don't know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Cockroaches can live up to 2 weeks without a head. Their brain is actually
That is
located.
so disgusting.
Their brain is located throughout their body, so that's just part of their brain that gets taken off with their head.
Ugh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Richard Milhouse Nixon was the U.S. president during all 6 of the man-moon landings. So
Really?
during his
Oh,
presidency,
I didn't know that.
every time we landed on the moon, he was the president.
That is a fun fact.
Another fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Woody Allen's legal name is Haywood Allen.
Oh.
That sounds kind of cool. I like Woody Allen better than Haywood Allen, I guess. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Doberman Pinscher is named for a tax collector.
Really?
So there you go. Yeah, the tax collector Doberman, apparently.
Huh.
I don't know. A couple of fun facts for you on a Thursday.
Whether you're an experienced shooter or someone new to self-defense, Front Sight Firearms Training Institute has a course for you. You may recognize Front Sight from their reality TV show filmed at this private range 45 minutes west of Las Vegas. A diamond lifetime membership is $15,000, but we have a special price of just $3,000 available now only at radiosavings.com. This lifetime membership allows you to take over 50 courses as often as you'd like at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute. Get this deal right now at radiosavings.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on this Thursday. Do you waste gas? CNNmoney.com offers 6 ways that drivers typically waste gas on every trip. They don't even know they're doing it. Racing away from green lights. When a light turns green, you don't have to gun it. I kind of do once in a while, but you don't have to. Racing up to red lights. If you're driving down the street and you see a red light or a stop sign coming up, take your foot off the gas sooner rather than later and slow to that stop, and that's going to be a whole lot better. Another one, confusing the highway with a speedway. Even if you're maybe in a hurry, they say when you're accelerating, speeding wastes gas. The faster you go, the more air your vehicle has to push out of the way, and the harder it is on your fuel consumption.
Huh.
What are you pointing at me for?
Yeah.
Would you stop that? That's so rude, Heidi. So rude. Again, CNN Money says 6 ways that typical drivers waste gas on every trip. Bumper buzzing. Tailgating is a bad move for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's unsafe. Second of all, it wastes gas. Every time the driver ahead taps his brakes, you have to slow down even more than he did. Then you have to accelerate again. That wastes a lot of gas. So if you think you're saving gas because you're drafting, well, you're wrong. You're actually burning more gas. And you could probably get a rock chip because we've done that before, too.
You are constantly getting rock chips. And even today, we just fixed the windshield, and
Yes.
he's on the butt of some semi,
Hey,
spitting rocks.
we're-
I'm like, scoot back.
We're good. We didn't get a
We
chip.
literally, last week,
Sounded like they were
fixed our windshield.
sandblasting us.
Oh, my God.
Another one, driving standing still. It says you probably heard it takes more to restart a car than to let it run. With modern engines, it takes little gas to start it up. So if you're going to be sitting somewhere for a long time, turn it off. Like if you're going to just park out in front of a gas station or a store to run in and grab something, turn it off. And the last one, short hops. For really short trips, take advantage of the opportunity to get some exercise. Walk instead of driving if you can. Those short trips burn up a lot of gas, and they could help burn up some calories instead. Right there, 6 tips, not tips, but 6 ways that we all burn a little too much gas, according to CNN Money. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Hey, this is Tim from Hope and Faith Machine Works. Are you having one of these days?
How in the world am I going to do that?
Or even,
If I could just have this, my life would be so much easier.
well, this kind of stuff is my specialty. At Hope and Faith Machine Works, we work with anyone who needs something built, fabricated, or just done right. We've done medical, industrial, PLC, and prototype designs. You can reach us at yourhopeourfaith.com. That's yourhopeourfaith.com.
Heidi, what frightens you the most in this world?
Something happening to my children.
According to kids, it could be parents, believe it or not. It says if you ask kids, parents are even scarier than dinosaurs and aliens. A survey has found, however, that a one-eyed monster named Cyclops is scarier than parents. The survey of children aged 4 to 10 found that dragons and Dracula and Frankenstein were also quite scary, but parents almost topped the list, only being beat out by Cyclops. And I can tell you, I'm afraid of Cyclops, but the good news is I've never met one, because I don't think they exist.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah. So kids, don't be afraid of that. be afraid of parents. We do exist. And if you don't listen to us, you're going to get in trouble.
I'm actually glad to hear there are some kids that are still afraid of their parents. Parents don't really discipline anymore, so
Well,
that's actually good to hear.
It depends on who they ask this survey of, I'm sure. But there you go. Coming up, the writing is on the desktop wall. We'll get to that story in just a bit. We appreciate you tuning in to the Thursday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I always suspected that my handwriting was getting worse as I gotten older. I never really knew why. Have you ever noticed, like, look at my notes. Sometimes I have to actually call somebody back and say, what was this again? You told me something, but I can't tell what I wrote down. Well, it's because I spend too much time on the computer, according to this. According to a new survey from Japan, most people under the age of 25 have not even once in their lives picked up a pen to write a formal letter. Yeah, under the age of 25, never written a formal letter.
So sad.
Job applications and complaint letters to companies are sent through email nowadays. The survey also shows that about half of the people never use correct punctuation, correct style, or correct grammar, and the internet has been used numerous times to break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend for people under the age of 25. How would you like to find out that things are over through a text message or through an email or a post on Facebook? That is, come on. Write a handwritten note telling her what a dirtbag she is. No.
Take the time.
Take the time to show her how much she really means to you. No, I mean, that you should do in person. But, you know, you should write things. It's important. Handwritten thank you notes. I love doing that, but then people think I'm a serial killer because I'm reading my handwriting. They're like,
I like to write notes. In fact, I still have pen pals.
I know. You're good with that. Coming up, we've got some fun stuff to chat about. That's all on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This has been quite an election so far, and we've got a long ways to go. Stay informed at PoliticalStorm.com. It's a cool site with political news and information on the campaigns, plus a place to chime in and have a say in what you think. If you're into politics, you need to check out PoliticalStorm.com. Get informed from several different sources all in one place. Listen to podcasts like mine and learn about current election topics, read fun editorials, and engage your brain. It's your country. It's your vote. It's your voice. PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. Heidi, we're going to talk about bad habits in the office. These are all from CareerBuilder.com. They have a website that has a whole bunch of fun stuff on there, but they have this bad habits, missing deadlines. If it's only a little late, it's still late. If it's due at 10, have it in at 10, not 10:05, not 10:20, not even 10:01. Have it there at 10. Have it there at 9:55 if you really want to be good. Bad habit number 2 on the list, dressing unprofessionally. Well, I'm the office free spirit with a quirky sense of style. No, you're the first one to get fired is what you are, so don't do that. Because if people are ashamed to even let people see you in the office, who do you think is the first one to go?
Yep, absolutely.
Like that guy in the corner that, you know, comes in wearing that same shirt every day. What is his deal? Number 3 on the list of bad habits, not being punctual. Well, what you think is, well, as long as I get all my work done, nobody cares. No, what you're really saying is, my time is more important than everybody else. That's wrong. Stick to the schedule. If you're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock, be there at 8 o'clock. Not 8:05, not 8:10. Be there at 7:55, right, Heidi?
Yes, John.
Yes, be punctual.
Yeah, just like you.
I'm usually somewhat punctual.
You are never punctual.
Hey, I'm just reading this.
Unless I'm with you riding your butt saying,
I didn't make this list up, so get off my tail, lady. Bad habit number whatever's next, checking your email or playing games or shopping on the computer at work. You might think you're being discreet. You're not. People see this. Keep the fun stuff to a minimum. Most employers don't mind if you check your email once in a while, but if every time they walk by you're doing that, that's not good. That's bad. And again, you might be the first one to go if there ever is a time that they have to let people go. Next bad habit, gossiping. Well, I'm just saying what I heard, but that also means you can't be trusted. So don't do that, or again, you may be the first to go. Bad habit number Z, I don't know what we're up to here, being negative. Well, everybody complains. What you're really saying is, I'm the person to avoid. Don't come near me because I'm going to complain about everything. I'm going to gripe and moan. Instead, keep in mind, work isn't always fun. Keep the complaints to a minimum. And then the last thing on the list here is bad habit, final bad habit, trying to be everybody's best friend. Well, I'm just being sociable. No, you're kind of being a brown noser. And you're not being, most of the time, this means you're not being real. And if you're being fake, people can see right through that. Treat each other like colleagues, not like drinking buddies. So there you go. Couple of bad habits to avoid in the office, according to Career Builder. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news. I think we've got some good news today, Heidi.
All right.
Researchers say they have developed a thing called a second skin. It's made of a polymer that is strong and stretchy and adherent, just like real skin. According to the website Mashable, researchers have been working on this project for the past 8 years. The resulting silicon-based film forms from two different creams that are applied one after another. So you put one on and then you put the other one on. The combination forms an invisible polymer layer that reinforces the skin beneath it while also providing a breathable barrier layer on top of it, like real skin. They say the biggest challenge was finding something with all of the properties of real skin. They needed it to be elastic. They needed it to be invisible. They needed it to be durable and moisturizing and something that would adhere well. They say the new second skin will be used to protect and enhance the skin as well as combat skin diseases. It is absolutely amazing how far technology has brought us. So all they're doing here is saying, hey, we already know what we want. We want it to be like real skin. It took 8 years to figure out how to make that happen.
That's
Isn't that crazy? I've got a link at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show if you'd like to know more about that. I just think that's fascinating what they can do. When my little sister was just a little kid, she burned her feet and they had to do skin grafts to cover that up. Now with this stuff, they can just smear the stuff on there, I
crazy.
guess. And I know there's other people that have gone through that same thing where they've had to have...
It's very painful.
And it makes it so now you've got something sore wherever you had that and then wherever they took the skin graft from too. So this 8-year study that they worked on for 8 years, it sounds to me like it was time well spent, and I think it's awesome that they came up with this. So that's some good news.
That is very, very good news.
Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And your bonus break is brought to you by our good friends at PoliticalStorm.com. For those of you who are into politics, you might want to check out this website, PoliticalStorm.com. You get all kinds of cool updates on there. And look what I got in the mail yesterday, Heidi.
I saw that. I was wondering what that was.
This is the funniest thing. Harold for President 2016. This is a guy that I spoke to. Harold, what was his last name? He's a puppet. Harold, I was going to say Peoples, but that's not right. I'll have to think about it for a second here. Anyway, Harold and the gentleman that puts his hand up at Harold's tush were on the radio with me, or on the podcast with me, rather. A lot of fun. And he's running for president because he said we need to have another option. So
there you go.
All kinds of interesting podcasts. I just recorded a podcast the other day with a gentleman, Andy Gause. He's a financial expert. He's got some interesting takes on things. A lot of podcasts on there that we've done. There's also a lot of other great stuff, too. Great content that doesn't come from us. I think the content that doesn't come from us is probably the best content. But we get to chime in and have some fun, too.
That's fantastic.
Go check it out at PoliticalStorm.com. Teenagers, Heidi, depend on their cell phones for keeping up with friends and with their trends on social media. But should they allow kids to have phones in school? What do you think before I read the rest of this?
No, I don't think so because it's distracting. But our daughter's classroom, they're allowed to have their phones.
Study from a London School of Economics for the first time provided hard evidence that banning phones in the school will boost the students' achievement. The study found that in schools that banned mobile phones, student scores on standardized tests went up 6.4%.
Well, yeah, because they're not distracted.
Lower performing students benefited the most from the phone bans. I've got a link at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Fort Pierce, Florida, 24-year-old Amity Joy Das grabbed a young McDonald's employee by her shirt to emphasize her dissatisfaction with the service she received. Then demanded to see the manager and insisted this employee be fired. The manager called the police. In the meantime, Miss Dow wandered outside, climbed a tree, hung upside down by her knees, and then came down to lay on the hood of the car before re-entering the restaurant. and asking if the girl had been fired yet. At the time, police showed up. Dow was the one that was arrested.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Just a typical day at a Fort Pierce, Florida McDonald's, if you ask me. That is crazy. I don't quite understand what she thought was going to happen with that whole incident, but there you go. Were you ever a fan of Charles Bronson? Remember back in the 70s and 80s?
Not really.
He played Paul Kersey, a guy who took the law in his own hands.
No.
Well, a modern-day Paul Kersey has emerged in Vienna, Maine. Machine shop owner Joseph Lord was angry that thieves stole $3,000 worth of scrap steel, iron, and aluminum, and he wasn't going to let it happen again. After Saturday night's theft, Joseph loaded his shotgun and laid low, expecting the thieves to return. Well, they came back Tuesday in broad daylight. When Joe saw their 2008 Ford F-250 pickup, he shot out the tires and the windshield and blasted the radiator. The startled thieves took off on foot. Investigators quickly tracked down the truck's operator, who will be charged with theft. Kennebec County Sheriff Randall Liberty says he discourages the use of guns to protect property. In this case, Joe told investigators he just wanted to disable the vehicle so the criminals could not escape. And he did.
And he did.
So he
Good
took
for
the
him.
law in his own hands. He didn't kill the guys. He could have. He
could
very
have.
easily could have. But he said it wasn't worth killing them. He just wanted to stop them so they couldn't run away.
Right.
And we got a strange law here. Just, again, not that we're not doing these every day, but I found this one was pretty good. The Merriam-Webster Collegiate Dictionary is banned in Carlsbad, New Mexico. The dictionary. I don't know. There's something in there we don't want you guys to read about. But it's the dictionary. Yeah, I know. I don't want you to go learning stuff on me. That's your bonus break, brought to you by PoliticalStorm.com. I don't know if you know this, but there's an election going on. Get informed and have some fun and chime in and have your voice be heard as well at PoliticalStorm.com.